other things. So my name is Nancy, and for those of you that don't know me, I also have an advanced motorcycle training school that I do on the weekends, which is why I'm only here for this evening. So the interesting thing about motorcycles, well, from my perspective, I train and then we coach. So I'm going to give you some tips on coaching, but something kind of came up for me that was kind of interesting. And a motorcycle turns by leaning. And we have like, you know, one of those funny slogans, when life throws you a curve, lean into it. So I thought that would be kind of appropriate to share with this crowd. So there are 10 steps to proper cornering. So when you first learn to ride a motorcycle, kind of squeeze your knees and counter steer. And basically that keeps your center of gravity over the bike's center of gravity. When you counter steer, you're throwing that bike into a lean, and that's how it works. But when you start adding speed and corners, and you watch the MotoGP racers, they're all kind of like hanging off on the inside of their motorcycle. Well, the concept is every degree that you get your center of gravity to the inside of the bike center of gravity, the bike is more upright, therefore it has more contact and more traction. So the interesting thing, so the 10 steps are, first you want to reposition your foot and get it out of the way, because when you're leaning off the bike, you don't want to catch your toe. The next thing is like you pre-position your body, so that position that you see those racers in is basically the point where they want to be mid-corner, and they get to it before they get to it. But now, the moment you go to the inside of the motorcycle, you've already initiated a lean. And now, because of gravity, but also when you're out there, you now have wind velocity that's kind of twisting you. So the bike wants to turn without you doing anything, so you have to kind of change the way that you steer. So the concept is you push on the outside grip, and it's almost like an arrow. You're getting that stored energy. Then you locate your turn point, and before you get there, you look at your turn and you let go, and that bike, just like an arrow, goes exactly to where you want it to go. It's a really interesting concept, and it completely changed the way that the dance that I have with my motorcycle, from being like this to being much more fluid. And so I think, you know, that would be kind of interesting. From a coaching standpoint, and then you roll on the throttle, you bring the bike back up, but you're in the danger zone, which is in the lean, a much smaller point of time too, and you're moving much more quickly. So, I mean, you can infer whatever you want. I'm sure we can discuss some ideas, but I do use motorcycles as a metaphor for Agile, because, you know, you can get somewhere fast. You have a lot more options to get there. So as a coach, one of the things that we do is we really ask questions that allow the student to come up with the answer. And we really kind of only focus at one thing at a time. So that might be another, you know, kind of takeaway. It's like, so if they're like supposed to be leaning over and their arm is supposed to be below their wrist, and they're like this, you ask them a question, where was your elbow in relation to your wrist? So anyways, that's what I want to share with you.